This idea of us staying in closets and carrying pounds and pounds of burdens, I don't know who made that up. And I think it's a part of our upbringing. But I would just tell you, listen, let it out. Let it go. Because there's better ways to do things. You had no idea that we're sitting in this year that we're in, that you would have the opportunity to go online and look up everything you want to know about something. If someone had told you that when you were a little girl, you wouldn't have believed it. You would have said, really? I'm going to be able to go on a computer and pull up all of this information that I would have had to go to the library to do. See, some of your mentality or some of the ways you've been doing things is library, honey. Sis, you've been at the library and you could be right at your computer when you let out what you're going through so someone else can tell you how to do it a better way. That's what you need. So the idea of thinking that you're going to get a trophy, you're going to get an award for carrying this burden all by yourself. There is no special award for that. God wants you to share his glory. He wants you to walk it out in the process. See, sis, it's about the growth of that too. It's not just you're going through the trial, you're growing through the trial. You're growing through the circumstance.
225 moments where his glory shines. Yeah.
Welcome to 225 Moments with me, MNicole. I am so happy that you're here. If this is your first time here, welcome to the family. If you're always here, welcome back, friend. I am so happy that you're here. This is a space of empowerment and encouragement inspired by Joel 2:25. Well, God promises to restore years that the locust has eaten. On this channel, you're going to find stories of God's restoration power where he's taken us from loss to abundance. And on today's episode, we're going to dive right in. We're going to talk about the truth behind I'm good. Is that you? Is that you? Every time they ask you, how are you doing? Or how things going? Or do you need anything? And your first response is I'm good. You say that. You say that with confidence as if you really are good. But here's something that I want to leave with you today. I want to talk you through how I'm good can land you in a place of self-abandonment where you're saying you're good, but you're really not. And in the midst of that, you're costing yourself from not being open and transparent so that you can be present in the moment without performing. Okay? Because listen, it's so easy to say, I'm good. I'm fine. That could be you. So the first thing I want to talk about is when you hear that, and it's the first thing to come out of your mouth. If you was raised in the church like me, you might have heard, hey, faith it till you make it. You just got to say how you want to feel. And that's good. But sometimes, I would tell you most times, it's good to be present in the moment to really express if you're not good or not. Here's how I want you to look at it. When you go to the doctor and the doctor, he's doing a checkup on you and you get ready to do blood work. And the first thing the doctor's going to ask you is how you been feeling? How's things going? You been feeling okay, right? And you'll tell the doctor, I'm good. Now, the doctor can do some science behind the scenes and look at your blood work to determine if, there's issues. But most of the time, the doctor can only treat what you tell them. So if you tell them I'm good, they're not going to treat any area that you could have pain in your body. So I want you to think of this as your life. Think of this as when people ask you, how are you? And you say, I'm good, and you're really not good. When things are really behind the scenes, you're crying yourself to sleep at night, or you don't have the means of things flowing in your life and you feeling stuck. But because you said you're good, no one knows to check on you. And I would tell you, most of the time, those are the people who are upset. I'm telling you, stomping mad that nobody else is checking on them. Nobody. So they'll go through these things. Let me tell you who this is so you know. These are going to be the friends that here you are, you're hanging out, you're doing your thing, and then you say, hey, I'm pissed at so and so. I'm pissed at April because I've been going through some things and she didn't even call to check on me. Well, did you tell April what was going on? When April asked you how you were doing, you said, I'm good. That could be you. That could be you. So we're going to walk through the power of being in the moment and being transparent. I would tell you, just because you're vulnerable, it doesn't make you weak. And I will also tell you, even if you're around strong people, there's never a competition for you to be stronger. If you feel a tugging in your knower, that there is something that you gotta be to be in the circle that you're in, then that's likely the wrong circle. You should have such a means around you that you could be vulnerable enough to be open so that you can be fixed. Yes, you. Okay. So I want to walk through that because the very first thing we say is I'm good. The first thing I want to talk about is the silent programming. There is something about people feeling as if I have to be silent. I have to carry this alone. I have to just keep everything bottled up, right? And deep down, you're struggling. You're carrying burdens for years that you could have had help to release. Listen, it's so much bigger than just saying I'm good, because I get it. Sometimes the I'm good, it seems like it's the right thing to say. But in the midst of that, and you silencing, what you're dealing with, you leave yourself in a place where you're stagnant. How would you know if you have the right tools to go further in your journey or to tackle whatever it is if you're not open to tell people what's going on? See, sometimes we believe that our testimony or our issues are for us. Oh, I'll tell you when I come out of it. Mm-mm. See, sis, if you tell your friend or whoever's around you in your circle or anyone that God gives you a portal, because sometimes things happen for a reason. You may be in an elevator with someone and they ask you about your day and you open up, and it may be one thing they say that'll push you to the next level, or one thing they say that would encourage you so that'll keep you in the mindset that this doesn't last always or this isn't forever. I needed that encouragement. So when you go through things, we often think, oh, it's my journey. It's my situation. It's all for me. Listen, it's for other people. That's something that I don't know we take into account or we really understand, because the people around you in your life should also learn from your trials. They should also learn from things you go through, and the vice versa. You should learn from them. If you're in a circle and you're going through something, right? The moment that you're open and you say what's going on, a sister to the left or a sister to the right can tell you something or give you a tool that's going to allow you to get through it faster, allow you to get through it peacefully, when you can sleep at night. It's stuff that's going on in your life right now that you just were not meant to carry alone. This idea of us staying in closets and carrying pounds and pounds of burdens, I don't know who made that up. And I think it's a part of our upbringing. It could also be a part of just habits that you've experienced even as a child. But I would just tell you, listen, let it out. Let it go. Because there's better ways to do things. Listen, you had no idea that we're sitting in this year that we're in, that you would have the opportunity to go online and look up everything you want to know about something. If someone had told you that when you were a little girl, you wouldn't have believed it. You would have said, really? I'm going to be able to go on a computer and pull up all of this information that I would have had to go to the library to do. See, some of your mentality or some of the ways you've been doing things is library, honey. Sis, you've been at the library and you can be right at your computer when you let out what you're going through so someone else can tell you how to do it a better way. That's what you need. So the idea of thinking that you're going to get a trophy, you're going to get an award for carrying this burden all by yourself. Listen, there is no special award for that. God wants to hear how God wants you to share his glory. He wants you to walk it out in the process. We oftentimes like to get in the shell and I'll walk it out when I come out. No, 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 no. See, sis, it's about the growth of that too. It's not just you're going through the trial, you're growing through the trial. You're growing through the circumstance. It's so amazing. I met a young lady at a conference once and I said to her, she asked me a question. She was like, "Hey, how was dinner?" I said, "Dinner was fine." And she said to me, you know, tell me about you. What do you do? I said, I'm a manifestation coach. I teach purpose-driven women how to stay in their joy bag and how to manifest their dreams. And it's through divine strategies and God's divine blueprint for your life. I told her, I said, listen, what if the blessings that you've encountered in your life, if I was to ask you, how do you recreate that? How do you stay in a cycle of abundance, right? And she said, I don't see the world in that way. See, I think this is a person that's been at the library. How you don't see the world in that way? So I asked her, I said, well, how do you see the world? She said, I just see, God all told us about pain and we're going to go through pain. She sees the world from a pain perspective. And I would tell you, if you're looking at a scenario and you see pain versus you see the lesson and the growth, sis, you're at the library. Pain is not the focus of what you went through. God did not take you through all of that for you to focus on all the things that hurt you, all the people that betrayed you, all the things that took you out. That's not what that was for. It was for you to grow and learn the lesson in that. But if your perspective is on pain, you have not learned the lesson. And I promise you, her perspective about pain, listen, it's valid to know that we're going to go through things. But the fact that her lens wasn't about the growth, it was about the pain. So I think sometimes when we say I'm good, we're focused on the painful part that we don't want people to see. We rather, stay in the back and we rather not call and not reach out. And we rather get off of social media for months and months and want people to look for you. See, I would tell you, you'll be surprised at the people that when they go through things, they want you to go on a goose hunt, a goose search looking for them. Who has the time? Who has the time? Listen, I need people in my life and you need people in your life that's got their big panties on. They got their big drawers on where they can tell you what's going on or they can reach out when needed. Listen, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have moments where you're going to be proactive because that's what friends do. But I'm talking about the friends that stay in a cycle of this cycle of disappearing, this cycle of going silent, this cycle. And I'm not discrediting moments where there could be depression, but I would tell you depression is rooted in something that you have not gotten through. And why have you not overcome that? What is it that you're holding on to that depression to keep you in that space? Some people like the spotlight of the pain because the pain make them feel like they're a victim. Is that you? Is that you? The victim of, it's me, it happened to me. Sis, I totally understand it happened to you. But let's talk about the you that's here today. Let's talk about the you that overcame that. Let's talk about the you that's going through that. Let's talk about the you that's on the other side of that. So I would just say this silent idea that, you want to get isolated. There is no strength in isolation. And that young lady, I looked at her and I said, okay, sometimes you have to know when God has assigned you to something to tackle. And friend, that was not my assignment. I told her what I do, and I ended it with God wants us to live in a life of abundance, and our trials and our tribulations allows us to grow, and it gives us tools to use on the journey. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have them. It just means that you know how to navigate better through the journey. You're on the internet. You're not at the library. Okay. The next thing I want to say about I'm good. The one thing about I'm good is that you also teach people how to treat you. I know you're thinking like, what does that mean? Listen, if you're constantly in a moment where you're giving, you're taking care of everything, the house, the this, the that, and you're in your career and you're knocking out, things, and you're on top of the world and you're tackling things, but somebody should call you and ask you, how are you doing? Right? And when you say, how are you doing? And every time you're always saying, I'm good, without really sitting in that moment to know how are you really doing? What happens is you open up the pathways to where people automatically believe that you're good. People won't invite you nowhere because, girl, they feel like, oh, you good. You don't need this. And then you'll start looking around like, well, what happened to my invite? Or what happened to people checking on me? Well, you taught them that. You taught them that because every time someone asks you something, the first thing you say is, I'm good. Right? That sounds good on the surface. I would tell you, listen, when I was out here dating, honey, thank God for an amazing husband I have. But when I was in the dating field, let me tell you something. You'll find yourself meeting people and they want you to put on this era of performances and be this person to them. And I was giving here and giving there and doing this and doing that. And it was to the point where you said, hey, how are you doing? And because I had so many capes on and it was such a performance, I will often be guilty myself for saying I'm good. Well, that's going to only last so long. And what I mean by that is, sis, you might be giving to him. And then the moment you look around, you're going to ask yourself, well, when is he giving to me? But remember, you told him you were good. Remember, you told your homegirl you were good. So people automatically assume that you're good. So you teach people how to treat you when you're in that moment and you're completely transparent. Listen, if you're not good, if you need something to eat, if you need something taken care of, you need to say it. There's power in transparency. And listen, if you a big deal, you better walk around here and act like you a big deal. And big deal people know how to talk. They know how to say what's going on. And that includes you. So listen, it's not just for you, but it's for other people to know how to treat you. And it's okay. It's okay to say, hey, I need this. It's okay to raise your hand when you're the one that's always giving. You're not going to get an award for running on empty. You're going to burn out. And then you're going to have resentment towards the person. And then you're going to say, oh, they always call me. They always want something. Well, did you tell them what you need? And in the midst of that, you make the right call to say, hey, you're not going to get the opportunity to keep calling me. And I told you what I needed, right? And you never delivered. Those are boundaries you need to set. And you're not going to know boundaries if you're always saying, I'm good. I'm good is not a silent boundary. I don't know who made this up, but just because you say I'm good, you're really blocking out people from looking behind you. You're putting yourself in a place where you're putting a wall up. And people say, oh, across that wall, they good over there. How many times have you been in a place where you've been somewhere and you said something was good and you just walked away like, oh, it's good. Ain't nothing for me to do. I don't have to go and fine tune it. I don't have to give to that person. They said they're good. That could be you. That could be you. And the last one I'm just going to say is that the power of transparency is far beyond the idea of someone seeing you weak. It's far beyond the idea of someone seeing you at your lowest or not at your best, right? Because we want to always look the part, okay? But what I will say to you is that it allows you, when you're present in that moment and the power of the transparency, it stops you from abandoning yourself. You know, it's going to put you in a place where you're constantly growing. I would tell you, if you're not doing that, I got to tell you the truth. You're probably a little stagnant and you're at the library, right? You're looking for old methods that no longer work. Or there's a better way to do things. Or you might even open yourself up to meet new people that can help you even further on your journey. But there's so much power. There's so much freedom. You know how people can wake up and live freely, openly? That's because on the journey, they're present. Be present. Don't be the person when they ask you, hey, how you doing? You say, I'm good, and nobody's home. Like, you really have checked out yourself. No one is behind the door. You're not even behind the door. You left the building because you're such at a place. Remember back in the day, we used to have these answer services. And babe, we used to take pride in getting on the phone and recording our voicemail when we had the answer service pick up. We used to have music in the background, like, whoo, SWV, hey, you've reached Monique. That used to be you. This was back in the day. But now I look at that and it's sort of the thing we do when I'm good. We've recorded methods and recorded messages to tell people in the midst of wherever we are. When you're at church, you know what to say. I'm blessed and highly favored. That's a message you recorded like you would when you was in high school with the music in the background and everybody wanted to have a little competition or who got the sexiest voicemail. That was you. Okay. We used to have a kind that had the little tape in it and we pressed the button. Okay. And it would just play back and we would do different recordings. I'm saying that to you is that you found ways to ignore being present. You found that. I want you to be present. I want you to ignore the programs, the messages, the voice services that you set up. And I want you to really sit in the moment at work, at home, in relationships, in friendships. When people ask you, are you good? Or how are you feeling? I want you to be honest. I want you to sit in that moment. If you're not having a good day, hey, today was tough. Today was heavy. I had this going on and this going on. You never know what you'll need on that journey just by being transparent. Listen, you don't have to carry old burdens into new seasons. You don't have to constantly stay in the energy of not really being present. You are being open from this point forward. You're open to love. You're open to authentic connections. You're open to real change when you are transparent. And that happens. Listen, it happens when you feel like you're in a safe place. And if you want to feel safe, trust that God got you every step of the way. That's his restoration power. That's how he takes you in and he puts the right people around you when you trust your spiritual connection with God to connect you to the right people where you can say how you really feel. And if that's not the case, listen, I'm praying for you, sis, and I know it's coming. I know it's coming. I know you're not going to just say I'm good. Listen, we throwing out the library books and we going online and we getting everything that we need spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, all the things, because I want all the blessings to come forth in your life. Listen, I appreciate you for tuning in today for 225 Moments with me, MNicole. I pray this blessed you. If it blessed you, I want you to like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with someone. You never know. This might be the word that someone needs to hear today. Okay? It's better and it's bigger than I'm good. You are open, you are present, and you are transparent. Let your 225 moment be just that. Set your alarms at 2:25 of the day and ask God to restore whatever you need. And that includes being open and transparent because you're better than good. Thank you for watching. You can find 225 Moments with me, MNicole, on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast, we're there. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time.